car off the trailer, and now we're gonna find ourselves a nice place to park it right here, where we can do some work on it. We're gonna start checking off some things, so let's get to work. Instead, we're gonna pull the hood off first, and then get it out of the way where we can see what we're doing, and then pull the deck lid off, and then we're gonna move this car out into our pit and do some work on it. AMC 401 board and stroke to 431 with aluminum rods, stroker crank. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, the first time it has run was yesterday, since it was first put back together in 1996. So almost 30 years ago that motor was built and then never ran. So pretty wild it runs as good as it does. So anyway, I'm gonna pull the jack under the car, lift the back up, and raise the coilovers on the back. So we're gonna lose a little bit of our cool stance, but we're gonna gain a little bit of suspension travel, so that's a win. Well, I got these coilovers raised up about another inch on both sides. They're locked down. I don't see any leaks or anything under here, so I think everything is still good to go. So I'm gonna crawl up underneath the back of the car and work on the other stuff I gotta get done. Yeah, there's some cool stuff here. The guy kind of put together most of this event is named Joe Bahachik. We actually got the taillights for this car from him, if you watched the first video with this car. And he gave us a sticker when we got the car. It says, "Bacon is for winners, team meat." And that's his little Rambler right there. It says team meat on the window. So I feel like this sticker is definitely destined to go on the car. I think front and center is a pretty good spot. Well, there we go. Got the rear of the car jacked up. My dad is adjusting the seat belt for me real quick. There's still a couple things to do. We went ahead and pulled the passenger seat out because it wasn't bolted in. And we're basically just gonna go run it up to tech, see if it passes. And then he'll tell us at what speed and mile an hour he will kick us out of the track, because this cage is not certified in any way, shape, or form. When you build a cage to NHRA specifications, you actually have to get an NHRA inspector to measure the thickness of the bars, check all the welds, and obviously check things like these joints, which you're not allowed to do this anymore. So technically, this is not a certified cage, nor would it ever be without changing these door bars. But that's okay, they'll tell us that. I already know that's the case. And we'll just make sure they think we're good to go. Well, let's go see if this thing will pass tech. In theory, I did everything as it should be done. And now we're gonna jump in, fire it up, and head over to the tech inspector, see what he has to say about things. So there we go. Got ignition, fuel pumps on, make sure it's in neutral, couple pumps. we made it to tech. Didn't blow up yet, so that's a win. Oh, it's hard to get in and out of a race car. No, I'm all good. It's easier when you take the steering wheel off. Oh. Oh yeah? You've seen this thing on the internet?
Sure. Very cool.
Well, it's here.
I'm glad to see it in person.
Yeah, I'm really glad we made it. 13 days ago, this thing was basically just a bare chassis. And now we're in Wisconsin about to go racing.
You're just gonna make some test runs on it, or are you actually gonna...
I mean, I entered the race, so I'll make some test hits, see how it acts, and if it acts good, I mean, that's what it's here for, is the race, so hopefully it treats us well. I'm gonna baby it at first, though. I'm not gonna go out there and blow it up, so. Yeah. All right, gotta grab my tech card and let him run through this stuff. Well, there we go, past tech with flying colors. Didn't even really glance at it. I guess that makes it look like it's a legit race car. If he was like, yep, that's good enough. And yeah, we're ready to race. Essentially, I just gotta dial in my seatbelts, put on my safety gear, and figure out when we can make a test hit.
I'm glad to hear that it passed tech. Yeah.
He didn't even say you can only run this fast, so I don't even think we're gonna get kicked out.
No limits, right?
I guess not.
All right.
It's pretty awesome. So this is my buddy Tom Zerner. He actually picked up this car for us when we found it on Facebook Marketplace.
I was gonna keep it myself, but I was nice and gave it to him.
Yeah, I don't think Tom would have ever finished it, just like the other guys.
I would have got ready in 10 days.
10 days? Oh, he's talking smack. But yeah, a huge shout out to him for the help, because we wouldn't have been able to get this car if they hadn't picked it up and stored it for us. What's it like seeing this thing here?
I'm so pumped.
Did you hear it run?
Yes.
It's rowdy.
A beast. As soon as I heard it last night, I called Tom and said, you gotta watch his videos. That thing's a beast.
It's gonna be rowdy. I am not a skilled enough, experienced enough driver to actually understand what I'm in for in this thing. The fastest I've ever been in the quarter is 11.2. This car should run a 9 easily.
Well, Joe's a 9.2, so you gotta beat him. 9.26.
Oh, 9.26 is fast. I don't know if I'll get that fast.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, I might need nitrous for that. So this is one of the Zerner's car. It's a little Hornet Coupe.
71.
71 SC360 clone. There's his dad's Hornet up there. There is so much killer stuff out here today. Like, got a Gremlin rolling by. Got an AMX following it up. Yeah. This is so awesome. So much good stuff out here. Gotta love another Javelin. Big body Javelin, purple with a flake on the hood. Yep. Makes me happy to see so many AMCs out being enjoyed. Well, Ambassador SST. Another Rambler Ambassador. Green cars just, they look better. I don't know what it is about green cars. Little Hornet, Levi's edition. Man, there is some really good stuff out here, including a little AMX, got flame job. Another Javelin. This is the earlier body style Javelin, unlike ours, the big body. An Ambassador with a 401. That is awesome. Still has the window sticker in it. Yeah, this is amazing. I am so glad to be in Wisconsin right now, enjoying a beautiful day here with a bunch of killer cars. All right, well, let's figure out what we got to do to make our car go down the track. I've pretty much got the car ready to go, and look who showed up. It is Tony Mancusi himself. This is the first time he has seen the car since it is put together, and it's super cool to be able to show it to him, but I wonder what it's like to see it from your perspective.
It's pretty darn cool.
It's cool?
Yeah, it's really cool, yeah.
I'm sure it's wild to see something that sat in your garage for that long.
Oh yeah.
Actually here at a track, put together.
It's nuts. Yeah, I can't believe he did it in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot, so.
That's dedication, man. That's really
So here, you got to get in it. That's a requirement. And there's a pillow back here because I need to be further forward because my head's so close to the roll bar.
Gotcha.
Power's on right now. It's in park. You hit ignition down, and you can just do what's there, and then you'll just, that's a momentary switch, and you'll just
touch this?
Yeah, that's a momentary. man.
Good oil pressure?
Oh yeah.
Do you think the ring sealed up like you were?
Oh yeah, it's not smoking at all. We made, what, 468 at the tire.
Ton of torque too.
Yeah, 544 torque
Yeah,
at 3,500 RPM.
Yeah, that's, wow.
The crazy part is it makes 400 horsepower or more for 4,000 RPM. It's just flat. It's nuts. So you got a really good motor from Dawn. I mean, a phenomenal motor.
That's awesome, man.
Especially considering it was built in 96 or so.
Yeah, that's...
And the fact that it fired up, like that's how it fired up in the shop. Like I could rev it and I was just like, how is this doing this?
Wow.
So.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah. It's one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of, legitimately.
Yeah.
I'm super glad we actually get to share it with you.
Thanks for doing it. I appreciate it, man.
I'll have to toss the passenger seat in it. And we didn't have time to bolt it in. But it could just sit in there. I won't go too crazy.
No.
I didn't really do much.
No, I've noticed you stayed away from drilling holes.
Yeah, those are even zip tied in right now because I was like, I haven't committed to what I want in there yet.
Right, that makes sense.
So everything's hose clamped to the bars and everything. Even the dash is hose clamped in. Like, I just didn't want to cut it up.
Will it pass tech?
It already did.
It did that? Really?
Oh, yeah.
To what
He didn't tell me.
Well, we're good.
So they might not kick me out, which is wild to me, but it's absolutely amazing. Did you expect it to run that good?
No. I mean, well, I kind of
But it fires right up, like, easy.
I mean, that sounded great. I had faith in Don. I thought he did a good job.
What's crazy is I don't even have the ignition curve retarding the timing there. It's at 36 degrees straight across, so it starts up at 36 degrees of timing. That starter's a beast.
Yeah, that little tilt.
Yeah, it doesn't even hesitate at 36 degrees. So it's full advanced timing all the time.
That's
And it's pretty amazing. Well, there we go. Car is officially dialed in. I adjusted the front shocks to what I think the compression and rebound should be on my double adjustable QA1s. Rear is dialed in and ready to go. Tire pressures are good. Motor seems ready. It's got fuel in it. And we're gonna go get in line, make our first test hit. Just gonna do a real mild foot brake. Probably just run first through second gear just to make sure the car feels stable. And then we'll come back, check over the car, and go out and try to make a proper hit probably. Maybe even use the trans brake. We'll see. What do you think?
I'm eating Bucky's beaver nuggets.
That sounds about right.
Priorities.
Great crew chief. Just eating snacks. But we're racing Tom, and I was gonna take it easy and just roll through second. I am still gonna take it easy on the launch, but if I see Tom next to me, I think I'm gonna have to, you know, maybe shift to third and run the whole quarter, just to
You can't be
just
beat.
to see.
You can't be beat by a whole.
Yeah, I was gonna only run through second gear and take it easy just to make sure the car's good. But if you're next to me, I think I have to. I think I have to try to put him to
No
shame.
mercy, no mercy. Tom.
Just let me beat you once.
Nope, I refuse. I need to put the GoPro on the roof facing backwards, right?
I don't know, last time I did a wheelie, we'll see it happen this time.
Really? No. I was about to say, what?
I seriously went from first to third, and I'm like, should I go back to second? I'm like, just forget it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. But with me and Tom, we're trying to decide what are we racing for, and I think it's got to be at least a case of spotted
If
cow.
it's spotted cow, because spotted cow tastes like dishwater.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Do
It's
with
great.
it. It's gross.
He needs one of those breakfast beers he likes.
Spotted
or
cow for
whatever.
you, and then for me, it's going to be like this.
Perfect. All right, well, I'm going to check my tire pressure and then put the helmet on, put the jacket on, and see what happens. So first time strapped into the car, I actually got the seat belts on, and it is hot. Not what you want to enjoy while sitting in a car, just sitting here sweating, but I'm gonna use the line lock for the first time, do a burnout for the first time, run it down the drag strip for the first time. And I have no idea how it's gonna go. I'm probably gonna mess something up because as much as, you know, we have to figure out what the car does, I have to figure out what to do to make the car do the things we need it to do. But we're about to make a run, see how it goes. So my dad's in charge of filming, so if the filming is terrible on the outside of the car,
Yeah.
you know who to blame.
To actually be in the car and like have the sequence of events and just everything, because there's a lot of little details to remember that all happen pretty quick within like a 10-second, you know, prior to the lights. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of, and when you get up there, there's this added pressure that there's nothing really that's gonna go horribly wrong if you're slow, but you don't want to look like an idiot up there. So messes with your brain. You really got to stay focused, and I got to remember what I need to do. So I'm going to try to remember what I need to do, shut it off before I brake so we don't starve it for oil. All this stuff that Don mentioned in his notes, and hopefully I do it right.
Yeah, and one thing that's different on this car is the shift pattern is reversed.
I wish it was flipped, but it's fine.
You got to remember to do it the opposite way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of little details.
Oh, yeah. Guys, but we're gonna see how it does. First ever pass in the car. Was not pretty on my part, but it ran a 10.8 at 126 miles an hour. I thought the hood was gonna fly off the car. I did hit the rev limiter once. It's got so much more in it, but to run a 10 on the first pass is absolutely wild. That's amazing. First pass in 40 years, and it's a 10-second car. Whew. So again, here's Tony showing him the pass of the first car. He got to watch the car go down the drag strip. I said I was gonna go easy, but then it felt so good I stayed in it. And it ran a 10.8. Would you expect that on pass number one?
No, I was expecting you to stop and have track and maybe run a 13 or 14. That's what I was thinking. Jeez.
I will say the hood bowed up about 5 inches.
Did it move up a little
So
bit?
I think we're gonna run no hood.
To me,
if I go any faster, I think it's coming off. Yeah.
To me, the fact that this was just made in a garage by a guy, first time ever building a car.
In his early 20s.
Yeah, on his own. And then you get out there on the first run, untested, and hit 126 miles an hour. That's a little bold.
It didn't slow down as well as I hoped at the end. I was gonna go for the first cutoff, and I went, and I was like, nope. And so I went back to my side and went all the way to the end. Yeah, the brakes need, I mean, they're not bedded in, so that's probably the main problem. So now they
But
are.
still hit 126, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got drums in the back, too.
Yeah.
Yes, so, yeah.
That was wild. So first pass ever in the car, and we still have more to do. So I'm gonna plug in my laptop and dial in some stuff. I gotta up the rev limiter, and I want to add the trans brake launch RPM into it. And while I have it plugged in, we want to be able to hook jumper cables to it because there's no charging system on this car. But luckily, what did you bring?
I rented a charger.
So yeah, we got a charger, and we're gonna hook jumper cables up, and then we'll be in business. So first ever pass, very lazy, runs a 10-second pass. I mean, that's amazing to me. It was only a 1.660 foot, and I bounced off the rev limiter, and it really just wasn't that great. So what I'm gonna come in here and do is fix some things by telling the MSD box what I need to do, because right now I have my rev limiter at 6,700. That's gonna go to 72 like he mentioned in his notes. We're gonna save that, and then we're actually gonna do a launch at Probably, we're just gonna start at 2,000. That'll let me go that low. So that's good on that. So it's time for our second run. I got the trans brake set up. I just tested it here in the actual staging lanes. It's working great. So we're gonna be a trans brake hit. Hopefully I don't screw it up because I don't really know what I'm doing, but we're figuring it out as we go. So time for run number 2. Let's hope the car treats us well and we improve on a 10.8. That was pretty awesome. I gotta say, I sucked at the trans brake deal, but the trans brake did work and it launched. So, pretty happy with that. But we made the run and we didn't blow it up. So, we're gonna go see what we did. The launch was bad, I know that much, but it ran a 10.9 at 128, so my 60 foot was slower, and everything that happened at the beginning was what was wrong. I wasn't.
We got another second in the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a second.
So I had never used a trans brake before, and I got it very wrong. It did work, and the two-step was working, which sounded cool, but the guy left me on the two-step for the longest time, and I was just like, ugh. So they're busy running some of the other classes out here. I'm waiting for the next test and tune, and while we're waiting, I figured Tony deserves to go for a ride in his old car. So we're gonna drive around the pits. I'm gonna kind of just show him how the car works, and then I think I'm gonna stick him behind the wheel and let him, at least, move it around the pits.
Sounds good to me.
Maybe once we get it like really dialed in one day, I'll let him take it down a drag strip and experience what this thing is actually like. But we're gonna jump in this thing, take a little lap around the pits, and it's gonna be super cool. So here we go.
So Tony's now the second person that's gotten to ride in the car before me.
Yeah, you're right. The guy who dynoed it went on a little street, and we romped on it. On that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Loudest fuel pump on planet Earth.
I noticed that on the video.
They're always loud though. It's loud and rattly,
loud, yeah.
but it's smooth, and it's not like,
I mean,
you don't have to wrestle it.
No, it drives nice.
I did get rid of that flex shaft. I don't know if you noticed that.
No.
The Pinto steering thing is gone. It's like a real joints now.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Apparently those are illegal in the NHRA because they'll rust on the inside or something. It's got neutral safety switches even, so if I have it in first, You can't even get into trouble. Look, I've tried to be legit on this one.
Yeah.
So then you have your water pump and fan, and I love like the analog switches. It's very 90s.
Right.
So.
Definitely the painless. That's what I was gonna go with.
Okay.
Painless wiring too. Sweet.
And it had to have a monster tank.
Well, you gotta have that. Yeah.
All right, let's get you on this side.
I don't think I can get
You
it
have
without
to
that.
pull the rod.
Oh, yeah,
See
there we go.
the rod if you pull it back.
There we
Yeah. I need to modify those handles. I haven't even been on the passenger seat yet. It's actually pretty easy to get into.
It's not too bad. Yeah, I've gotten in and out of this thing a few times.
Processes ignition. We can turn these on afterwards, or you can turn them on right now.
Sure.
And then you just a tiny little blip and hit the starter. And you want to be on the brake, because it tries to go. So yeah, pull on the brake.
Thing's kind of wicked.
It's a freaking monster.
Jeez, it sounds angry, man.
It's amazing, but also like totally impractical in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Jeez.
What do you think?
I think you did a hell of a job. That's pretty
Well,
freaking cool.
It's your parts and pieces that you assembled just to actually
Yeah, you
finish.
finished it though, man. That's pretty wicked. That thing just sounds badass. For sure.
It's like, I feel like it should be so much faster than it is just based on how it sounds, because it is nuts.
I have no doubt it will be once you
Yeah.
get it dialed in.
It'll for sure run a 9, and then with some nitrous, I'm pretty much guarantee this car will run an 8 in its current form. And that's kind of my goal. I think I want to run an 8 in it before I tear it apart. So, because this is how you would have had this, how the car would have been, right?
I would have shot I don't know if I would have nitrous it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, you never know. But yeah, this is what I would have done, pretty much. Exactly what I would have done with it. Yep. Yeah, it's awesome, man. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Thanks for letting me do that.
Oh, of course. No, thanks for taking such good care of this car for all those years. Like, because it really is a time capsule of an 80s and 90s, street rod. I mean, well, race car, I guess. They wanted, so Robbie built it as a street
I
car,
know he was going to approach street it.
which is crazy because it's a race car. Like, it's not a street car.
No,
but
not really, but yeah, that was always what I was going to do with it, though. I was going to bring it here, actually. This is where I started for me.
that's so cool.
What were you gonna street ride it to?
It's going to be a 9-second race car.
Okay. So what's kind of funny is our goal falls right in between Robbie and your goal.
Right.
So drag and drive.
Yep.
So not just to be a street car, not just to be a race car, but to do both.
Do both. Combine
So
everything together. No.
it's so cool. So there we go. That's a very successful day at the drag strip. 3 10-second passes. Be able to share it with Tony and my dad and all the people here that love these AMCs so much. It's absolutely incredible. I couldn't ask for any more. Like, seriously, a fantastic way to spend a weekend, as well as spend 2 weeks of my life building a race car. We're gonna make one more hit tonight and then call it an evening, because it's I haven't slept a lot in the last like 4 or 5 days, and I could probably stand to not stay here all night racing. So yeah, let's see if we can run a better than a, what, 10.6 is our best so far? And I changed my launch RPM to 2,500 because I felt like it was bogging a little off the line, so I'm gonna bump it up just a touch. So cool to see this car out here.
It's real cool.
So.
And it's even cooler to beat it.
Yeah, you did beat it. He did. We had a bracket race, and I broke out worse than he did.
Yeah.
So really, who won?
Really?
Like my pass was my best one yet.
Yeah. So
was your pass your best one yet?
it was. I ran a 13. What was it? A
13.9. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was running 14.2s all day, and then I hop in the car, and it felt faster, and it just went. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
We were probably like a little bit on the edge of out of gas. It was running a little leaner, running hotter,
Yeah.
making more power. Next pass it runs out of gas.
It ran out of gas. It killed it 1,000 foot.
Too funny. So this is Joe Bahachik's son, the guy we got the parts from in the previous video, and he's out here racing that Gremlin that was in the video. 401 Gremlin, like they used to do at the dealership. You were
Yeah,
telling me
at Randall.
about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
No,
it
it's an
definitely
awesome
gets
car.
squirrely.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that wheelbase
Yeah.
is non-existent.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna go get in the staging lanes and see if we can better our 10.6 because this car has so much more in it. I just need to actually sit there and take my time and get in the zone before I get up there because I've literally rushed to the staging lanes every single time so far, and that's not a recipe for success. Well, here we go. Final run of the day for us. We're gonna be packing it up after this and coming back tomorrow and seeing if I can actually improve upon what we've done today. So far, we've got 3 10-second passes. I wanna shave some time off of that, so I bumped the trans brake RPM launch up a little bit, and I'm gonna try not to suck. That's the moral of the story, is don't suck. So, car's ready, all dialed in, waiting on them to just run the handful of cars in front of us, and then we'll be making a rip down the quarter mile again. So, unfortunately, I kind of just completely botched that last run. I could blame it on a lot of different things, but probably learning in a completely new car that's never been down the drag strip in its entire life, and not sleeping more than like 6 hours for the last 4 days might have something to do with it.
And never driving a 10-second car before.
That is fair, yeah. There are many contributing factors to the suckage, but as a whole, fantastic day. I mean, the car ran a 10.8 on its first pass ever. We hit 128.9 miles an hour at a 10.6. So yeah, the car is performing very well. It's going perfectly straight, so smooth, not really having to fight it. What I'm having to fight is me on the short track, the 60 foot of this thing, and making the very first part of the run happen. It's a lot going on all at once, and I'm having to break some old habits from racing the El Camino so many times and racing other cars where you do things differently than with this car with a trans brake. So we'll figure it out, but for now, it's time for some nice cold drinks and a bed to sleep in, because it has been a very, very long last 2 weeks. Not only just today, but 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we're gonna get things cleaned up a little bit here and just leave the car out here overnight and come back in the morning and hopefully make a lick when it's nice and cool outside and not have to worry about dealing with the sweltering heat, because running when it's cool is always better for the race car and better for you. Anyway, good night, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. what is day 2 out here at Great Lakes Dragway. We didn't get as good of a run as we wanted yesterday, so I'm gonna look over the car today and see if we can figure out anything that's going on with it. I think the main problem is me, but car's out here looking fantastic. Stayed out here overnight, and we're working on prepping it for the day. My dad went ahead and got the Sally Speed Shop sticker on the back glass, so we're representing the shop now. And yeah, we're just gonna top it off with fuel, check the tire pressure, give it a quick once over, and then get in the staging lanes, see about making another hit today. So been a great weekend so far. Even if nothing goes right today, it's already been a win. Got a great night's sleep last night, so feeling a lot better. And now we get to enjoy another day of racing.
Well, this gives you more room when you don't have a seat.
Yeah, that's true. Probably not very comfortable. All right, so I think the battery cutoff might be on. So we're gonna drive the car over to the staging lanes and get ready for a test or two. My dad's about to go for his first ride in the car with no seat, because that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, we don't want to carry the seat back.
Yeah. And then we'll basically I'm gonna go out there, and I'm gonna try not to worry about reaction time at all. I'm just gonna focus on the car and making sure I can make it go down the track and work. So let's fire it up and get over there.
Yeah, pretty loud in here.
That's your first ride in the car. What do you think?
It was good. I'm glad I got earplugs in. I don't wear these just for the headset feature. I wear them as earplugs.
And he wears them all the time. Even if you swing a hammer in the shop, he puts his earplugs in.
That's
so
right.
This car is like aggressive compared to a
Jake's
hammer.
always making noise. He's like a wrecking ball.
All right, so we're in the back of the test and tune line, and I'm just gonna go up there and see if I can make the car do what it's supposed to do. So there we go. All right, here we go. It is time for our first run here Sunday. We're gonna see how the thing acts, and I'm gonna get my dad to be doing some slow motion filming on the starting line with my iPhone, and that way we can get a little more information as to what the chassis is actually doing when we launch this thing. So we're gonna find out. Make sure you're ready with that slow-mo. There we go, let's fire it back up. There we go, we just made the pass here today, and there are some issues to work out. I'm getting more comfortable in the car, so I'm getting to analyze what's happening a little more. We're at an 11.0 at 125. The 60 foot is only a 1.5, so something's going on the launch where the thing actually like knocks the tire off or something and bogs. I can't really tell. My dad took a slow motion video, so I'm gonna look at that. But basically it didn't shift into second. I think the shifter linkage is messed up. I thought last night I had just missed second gear. Turns out second gear didn't go in, so something's up with the shift linkage, I assume. I'm gonna take a look at that. So we're jacking the car up, and then we're gonna climb under there, see if we can find anything. So yep, here we go. Here we go, under the car. This car is so low that even with the ramps up there, it's still hard to squeeze between the rocker and the ground. Luckily, I'm not too large, but yeah, we're gonna see what's happening here. Let's see, shift linkage off, let's park, reverse, neutral. Feels fine, so I'm gonna have to have my dad run through the shifter. Got a little tiny bit of trans fluid. I think it's leaking right there, actually, not even from there or the pan, so that's good. Tiny bit of trans fluid from the rear of the transmission. Everything else is looking pretty good. So as you can see, there is my shift linkage. You see the hole? Well, if I put it up here, it's just slightly too short. So I'm gonna lengthen the linkage a tiny bit and see if that goes to the gears better, because I'm like 1/8 of an inch off in every gear. So hopefully that's all that's making me miss second, because second is very close together here on the shifter. So if it's any out of adjustment, you're not gonna get second gear. So anyway, we'll figure it out. All right, running through the gears all the way, just back and forth. There we go. So it's looking pretty good. We just adjusted the shifter a little bit. Had my dad run it through the gears. It looks like it's working. Let's make sure it's in park by attempting to spin the rear wheels, because I would love to know that we have park. Oh goodness. It's not very roomy under there, despite the car being on ramps. That's 6 inches of space probably. Yeah. So it's a very, very low car. So let's see, are we still in park? Oh yeah. We still get park, and we get all the way to third, so shifter's working like it should. I will say, man, it does look really good under here, but I do see one thing that's definitely a problem. You see that top 4-link mount bracket? It is coming up and hitting the frame there, and has actually put a dent in the frame rail. Luckily, that's behind where there's anything happening. That's really just kind of a, you know, support for the gas tank and stuff back there. So it's not really structurally important, but yeah, when that happens, it unloads your rear suspension, and your tire spins and the car bounces, which is exactly what happened. And you have to basically fix that before you're ever gonna get a good short track time, which explains why it's been doing what it's been doing on the short track. I thought it was all driver error, but apparently it's a mechanical issue. So we're probably gonna be replacing all this 4-link stuff anyway, and building more new custom bars and doing some QA1 mod shocks on it. So there's a little bit for us to work out, but as a whole, I'm pretty happy with the car. So we do have the ability to just cut these ears off. But what I'm probably gonna do is rework the bracketry on this suspension entirely, because I really just don't like how it's at the peak, like the max amount of its adjustment to be where I want it. So yeah, we have a little bit of work to do, and I think that means we're probably done for the weekend, because I would like to fix that and not break the car. So all in all, it's overall a win, but we got a few little things to figure out.
Yeah. I think you should cut them off and run again, but anyway. I gotta leave here shortly, so I probably wouldn't see it anyway.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna load the car up and relax P.O.Box and enjoy some drag racing.
Yeah.
Only in Wisconsin are you gonna find drag racing snowmobiles. That's so cool to me. Look, you got little wheels in the front and a track in the back, just like a regular snowmobile. Man, that's cool, and it's just a smooth rubber track. No grooves in it. No, you're not trying to scoop snow. You're trying to get traction.
Yeah. So he was telling me what
That's
he
wild.
ran. What speed?
9.1 or 140.
140? That sounds terrifying. Is it stable? Like it's a snowmobile.
It's like better than a car.
Better than a car. Wow, that's amazing. That is so cool. Look at that trap on there. That's really cool. I guess you need to be able to use them in the summertime. There's your answer.
All year.
All year. That's so cool. I love it. What's your name?
Crazy Al.
Crazy Owl. Oh, that's pretty fitting. Yep. I love it. Yeah, this is cool too. Look at that. Bar stool with a motor on it. Crazy Owl is our kind of people. A little bonus segment in our video for you, some snowmobile drag racing action. And you said you used to race snowmobiles on the water.
Yes.
And like, not just in a straight line, on a course?
No, ovals.
Ovals.
For 18,
6 guys, 8 laps.
For 18 years you did that.
18 years.
That is amazing. So this is a 3-cylinder 2-stroke?
Yep. It's a 1060.
1060. You said it's making 220 horsepower?
I know that one myself.
That's really awesome.
I know the whole thing.
Well, that's not something I expected to see today.
Right here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maximum, is turned off. That's my maximum.
You have EGTs on it
Yep.
for each cylinder?
Yep.
Man, that's cool.
And RPMs.
Wow, that's
another
cool.
Tack.
That is really,
You
really
said
cool.
220 horsepower?
Yeah.
Wow. You are a crazy owl, but it's you definitely caught our attention as soon as you pulled in. Like, that was amazing. Well, it's a pleasure, Al.
Thanks, bud.
That thing is super cool. Thanks for showing it to us.
Nice meeting you.
Man. Only in Wisconsin. That's so awesome. So I haven't had a second to come over and thank Joe, but I wanted to say thank you to Joe for putting on an awesome little event.
Thank you,
You have a
thank
good
you.
weekend?
I had a great weekend.
Yeah?
It was awesome.
How'd your car do?
Pretty good. Driver issues.
That's how I've been the whole time,
Yeah.
so I get it.
Yeah, no, I did good. It was a fun weekend. I went 9:13, fastest.
Man, that's flying.
Yeah, 143. No power headers. All motor 401.
401.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's, I mean, basically what we have set up. What transmission do you have in yours?
Power glide.
You have a power glide,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Two-speed.
that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
how would you describe the weekend as a whole? What was it like for you?
Success. It was a good one, and I can breathe now.
You can breathe, it's over, you can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to appreciate you having us out here and wanting us to come up with the car. Like, it was really cool. So.
It was. I really appreciate you coming too. I know it was a hike.
A little bit. It was a bit of a thrash to get here, but we made it
Yeah.
happen. It was well
That's
worth
too
it.
cool.
And for the car to come off the trailer and run a 10.
That's awesome.
First pass
How
ever.
can you beat that?
I
Yeah.
mean, most people work their whole life up to a 10-second pass.
Right.
For it to literally be the first pass the car, yeah, blew my mind.
Yeah.
But we'll probably have to go see Joe and get a few more parts for the car. So
Absolutely.
he's the guy to see for AMC parts, but he's got a killer little Rambler here that runs 9s in A. Has it ever run an 8?
No, 908, 140.
9.0. Oh, he'll get there at some point. It'll happen.
It will.
But again, thank you, Joe. It was a fantastic weekend. Well, that's going to be a wrap for racing for us this weekend. There's a couple things we're going to have to address on the car, but as a whole, for a first time out, this was absolutely fantastic. When Robbie first dreamed up this car with his buddy John Dover 40 years ago, I bet they wouldn't imagine it would have taken 40 years for the car to make it to the track and make its first pass ever. We got to share it with Tony, who owned the car for 32 years, and that was super cool as well, and he got to watch the car that he had for all those years go out and run a 10-second pass. We ran a best of 10.6 at 127 miles an hour. The car did mile an hour up to 128.9, but if we can get the short track down, this thing has a 9 in it, no problem at all. So we're gonna have to go home and revisit a couple little issues, but as a whole, fantastic weekend full of great people, great cars, and just an awesome time finally getting this car out and on the drag strip where it belongs. And now in the future, we'll show you the changes, go out and hopefully run a 9 at some point, and then build it into the drag and drive car that we've always wanted. And hopefully at least run some 8s, maybe some 7s in the future. 6s, you gotta spend a lot of money to run 6s, but maybe one day. So stay tuned. There's always more to come here at Sally's Speed Shop. I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching as always. Your support means the world to me. And if you want to follow along and be caught up to date on everything we're doing, hit that subscribe button right now. And I'm not just saying that, it does a lot more for us than you know and helps us to do more cool stuff like this. So drop a like down there. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'll see you guys on the next one.